The year is 2025. The location is West Asia. The story is about an ongoing battle between two formidable opponents who have been preparing for this moment for years. But now that it's here, there's more at stake than meets the eye. This isn't just a clash of arms. It's a high-stakes game with global implications. In one corner, we have Iran, a nation fueled by revolutionary fervor and driven by an unwavering commitment to its ideals. On the other side stands Israel, a nation forged in the fires of ancient history and bound by an unbreakable spirit of resilience. These two nations are not just locked in a battle, they're engaged in a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess where every move counts, and the pieces they're moving are not just pawns, but assets that could very well shape the future of the region and beyond. Welcome to Gravitas Plus. Tonight, we'll decode the Iran-Israel conflict for you. We'll tell you why the battle lines were drawn, what went down, and what's in store for the future. Why should you care? Because this isn't just a regional conflict. It's a global flashpoint that could trigger a domino effect with far-reaching consequences. So let's start by understanding the core issues at play. What's the root cause of this conflict? How did these two nations find themselves on opposing sides of the battlefield? Well, the story goes back decades. Rooted in historical grievances and geopolitical tensions, it's a tale of two narratives, each claiming legitimacy, each seeking to prevail. Now let's shift our focus to the key players, the main actors in this unfolding drama. Who are they and what are their motivations? Let's start with Iran, a nation with a rich history and culture. For Iran, this conflict is not just about land or resources. It's a matter of principle, of standing up to what they see as Western imperialism and defending their own brand of Islam. Their actions are guided by a deep desire for recognition and respect on the world stage. On the other side, we have Israel, a nation with deep historical and religious ties to the land of Israel. For Israel, this conflict is a fight for survival. They see themselves as the victims of repeated attacks, and they re-prepared to defend their homeland with all their might. Their actions are driven by a desperate need to protect their people and their way of life. But it's not just these two nations involved. There's a constellation of players on the global stage, each with their own interests and agendas. The United States, a global superpower, has thrown its weight behind Israel. For them, it's a strategic partnership, rooted in shared values and interests in the region. Then we have Russia, a major player with its own interests in the region. Their involvement adds a layer of complexity to the conflict. And then there's China, an economic powerhouse eager to expand its influence. Their presence in the region signifies a new era of competition on the economic front. As we delve deeper into this conflict, we'll continue to uncover the motivations and agendas of these global players. But for now, let's focus on the immediate situation on the ground. What is the current state of affairs? What's happening right now in the midst of this conflict? Let's paint a picture of the situation on the ground. It's a complex web of military operations, civilian casualties, and shifting alliances. The streets are filled with tension as both sides vie for dominance. Hospitals are grappling with the influx of casualties. Innocent lives caught in the crossfire. The human toll of this conflict is a tragic reality. And amidst this chaos, the specter of war crimes looms, adding a somber note to the already grave situation. The global community is watching closely, calling for de-escalation while providing aid to those affected. In this evolving situation, the role of international organizations is crucial. Groups like the United Nations are working tirelessly to find common ground and bring the hostilities to a halt. But the path to peace is fraught with challenges. As we witness the unfolding drama, it's essential to remember that behind the headlines, There are real people caught in a terrifying ordeal, civilians going about their daily lives, families torn apart and futures hanging in the balance. It's a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. Now, let's turn our attention to the global implications of this conflict. Why should you care? Because this isn't just a regional clash. It has the potential to send shockwaves across the world. Let's start with the economic impact. Disruptions to global oil supplies are already sending ripples through the global economy. The price of oil is on the rise, threatening to fuel inflation and disrupt industries worldwide. Energy markets are in turmoil as traders grapple with the uncertainty of supplies from the region, and as the conflict drags on, the economic fallout is likely to intensify, affecting everything from transportation costs to the price of everyday goods. But the impact goes beyond economics. The conflict is also stirring up social tensions. Communities around the world are divided along religious and political lines, mirroring the conflict in their own streets. Social media is awash with opinions and debates, often becoming a platform for spreading propaganda and misinformation. It's a stark reminder of how conflicts can polarize societies. And then there's the humanitarian crisis. As the fighting intensifies, more civilians are caught in the crossfire. The number of refugees is growing, placing a strain on neighboring countries and international aid organizations. The world is watching as innocent lives are uprooted, seeking refuge and facing an uncertain future. Amidst this turmoil, questions about justice and accountability take center stage. The alleged war crimes are not just a stain on humanity, they're a challenge to the rule of law. International organizations and courts are under pressure to hold those responsible to account. The world is waiting to see if justice will be served, if the perpetrators will face the consequences of their actions. So you see, this conflict is not just a distant headline. It's a crisis that's touching every facet of our lives. From the gas we use, to the stability of our economies, from the safety of our streets, to the fate of countless innocent people. The Iran-Israel war is a defining moment for our times. As we conclude this episode, let's shift our focus to potential solutions. Is there any hope for peace in the midst of this conflict? What are the efforts being made to bring it to an end? Well, the path to peace is never easy, especially when emotions run high and mistrust runs deep. But there are glimmers of hope. Organizations like the United Nations are working tirelessly to bring the warring parties to the negotiating table. The UN Security Council has been a hub of intense discussions as world leaders seek common ground. But reaching a consensus in such a polarized environment is a daunting task. The international community is also exploring various avenues for peace. Regional organizations like the Arab League are engaging in diplomatic efforts to mediate a ceasefire. The weight of ending this conflict is heavy on the shoulders of world leaders, who must balance the need for peace with the need for justice. At the heart of these discussions is the search for a lasting solution. Many are calling for a two-state solution, an independent Palestine alongside Israel. This idea has been a cornerstone of peace negotiations for decades, but the path to its realization is fraught with obstacles. The conflict has deep historical roots, and decades of mistrust cannot be erased overnight. Both Iran and Israel have legitimate grievances and aspirations that must be taken into account. Finding a compromise that addresses these issues is a monumental challenge. The international community is also grappling with the question of accountability. Allegations of war crimes and the targeting of civilians cannot be ignored. Bringing the perpetrators to justice is not only a matter of upholding the rule of law, but also a step towards preventing future atrocities. This is a delicate balancing act for world leaders who must uphold justice without exacerbating an already volatile situation. The quest for a peaceful resolution is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It requires patience, perseverance, and a commitment to dialogue. As the world grapples with finding a solution, it's essential to remember the human element. Behind the conflict are real people whose lives have been uprooted by war. The plight of the refugees, the loss of innocent lives, and the trauma of those affected by the conflict must be at the forefront of our concerns. Reaching a lasting peace agreement is crucial to prevent further suffering and create a better future for all involved. In the meantime, humanitarian aid is vital to alleviate the suffering of those caught in the crossfire. Organizations like the Red Cross are working tirelessly to provide medical services, food and water to those in need. The world is watching and hoping for a swift resolution to this conflict. The Iran-Israel war is not just a regional clash. It is a stark reminder of the complexities of our world and the urgency of finding peaceful solutions to conflicts. If you found this video informative, please share it with your friends and family. Your support means everything to us. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you for watching.